Hey YouTube friends, and welcome to my March plant update. I realised that since I did the walk around for you guys, so much has changed in my plant collection already, and it's only been a few weeks. One of the things I found that was really good about going on holidays, apart from the fact that holidays are amazing, was just it gave me that space, 16 days of space away from my plants. I guess it made me realize the plants that I missed and was really happy to come home to, and also the plants that I was less happy to come home to and that aren't necessarily bringing me joy, and also getting to see my collection with a new set of eyes. It's also given me some new styling ideas as well, areas that I might have felt a bit stuck with. Two of my bigger plants, two of my more established plants, I gave away on Facebook Marketplace because I need to find home for my Monstera, and I realized it's definitely not a plant that I can live without. So the Monstera is staying, but two of my other plants needed to go to make room. So I can't wait to give you all those updates. I've got quite a few plants beside me to talk about, and I always think it's nice to do these planty updates and just to get to see people's collections and realize that it doesn't really matter how many plants you have. You're always going to have the plants that are doing really well and others that are not doing so well. I've tried to pick plants that I don't necessarily talk about too much with you guys, so I'm not repeating the same plants over and over again, because of course there's just my favorites that are going to make me smile regardless. My fiddle leaf, my ficus taniki, my micans, and all of my jungle cactus. They just grow and grow for me and really cause me minimal trouble. But I thought it would be nice for you guys to get to see a few other plants that I don't necessarily talk about all the time. And of course, just quickly, if we haven't met before, hey, I'm Mel. I'm that crazy self-confessed plant lady that just cannot stop talking about plants. And on this channel, I bring you along on my planting journey, mistakes and all, in the hope to give you a bucket load of tips and tricks along the way so that you can build your planting collection as well. I'm trying this microphone again today, guys. So I got it new on Amazon a few weeks ago now, and last time I tried it was during one of my plant tour videos, and the sound just kept cutting in and out. It was actually really hard to edit. So I'm hoping, because I'm sitting still today, because still in the moon boot, thank you Daisy, hopefully it's not cutting in and out. And I don't know about you, but I find refunds and exchanges, I don't know, I think it's an ADHD thing, or maybe it's a busy mum thing, they just feels really big. So I'm hoping it just works for me and I don't need to go through the exchange process for this. I used it once, it didn't work, and I just had it sitting in the drawer. I really need to do something about it. Let's hope that the sound actually works for this video. So the two big plants that I talked about actually went on the weekend. So as I'm talking, I just make sure that there's some B-roll up here for you guys. So my beautiful Monstera that has been in the corner of our lounge room for a very long time and that got eaten by the caterpillars over Christmas, it has well and truly recovered from the caterpillar episode, and it's now getting too big for that corner. So I've moved it out onto our back patio where the fiddle leaf fig and alocasias are. As you're hopefully seeing in the B-roll, it really doesn't fit. So I really needed to find another spot for it. So the front patio it is. And on the front patio, I have two plants that were big, that by moving those, the Monstera will fit no problem. One of them was a bit sentimental because my beautiful elderly neighbour gave it to us many years ago when she moved to a retirement home. It's a Dracaena, massive, way taller than me, and it had these really cool twisted trunks. So I kept it, and I kept it because it was sentimental. It's really easy to look after being a Dracaena, but it really did take up too much room. I wasn't a fan of the black pot. It really doesn't match with our aesthetic. And I really needed to make space for, so not only the Monstera, but the taniki that hopefully you'll be able to see in the B-roll is sort of leaning towards the light where the Dracaena was. So I had to choose between the Dracaena, the taniki, and the Monstera. The taniki and the Monstera won. So a lovely lady from Facebook came and got the Dracaena yesterday. She was absolutely delighted. It was what she'd been looking for, and she loved the twisted trunk just as much as I did. So I know that that's going to good hands. And then the other big plant that I had out there is an elephant ears plant that I actually picked up from the plant library a few years ago now. It's featured in a number of my videos. It has pretty much been a problem plant the entire time that I owned it. So if I didn't water it the right amount, it was way more dramatic than any piece of leaf could ever wish to be. So later this week, hopefully someone will be able to take the Monstera around for me to the front patio. Struggling a little bit with my boot. The Monstera is too heavy for me to pick up at the moment. And also I've got an excess of snake plants. I've said before, I love them, but they just grow and grow and grow here. And so I've got some snake plants that I will put on the front patio as well. I've actually got them sitting around in a side garden, and they need to be potted up and given to Plant Club, but I'll keep a few of them. So That felt really good, guys, because I've been needing to do something on the front patio for so long. But same, after being away on holidays, I was just like, no, I can see exactly what needs to happen here. Start this video with my absolute champion for March, the #1 favorite, the plant that is just making me smile multiple times per day. And then I noticed the most change when we got home from holidays. It's a little bit big to bring inside here, so we'll have to rely on B-roll. But it's my fiddle leaf philodendron. So it's on one of my antique ladders in the lounge room. So this was another cutting that was left at the end of Plant Club. It came as wet sticks, so I wasn't really sure what the plant looked like or would turn into. I grew it in water for a few months and then some beautiful leaves started emerging. I'd never had a philodendron like that before. And it thrived in my bedroom for a long, long time. Also on the antique ladder in there, and eventually it got too big. I transitioned it out of water and into my chunky mix. I put it in the back area where my alocasias and my fiddle leaf and my spider plant grow, and I thought it would be really happy out there. But very quickly, the ends of the leaves started going a little bit yellow, telling me that it was potentially getting too much light. And I thought, oh, where am I going to put it now? Because it had started getting quite big, and space in my house is a premium, as you guys know. I thought, well, it did really well in the bedroom, which gets a similar amount of light to the lounge room. So I moved some plants around and found a spot where it fitted, luckily, on the ladder in our lounge room. It picked up, so very quickly the yellowing on the leaves stopped, and I was so relieved because it has become quite a favorite of mine, this plant, because it's got quite a unique growing pattern. Well, I think it's got quite a unique growing pattern. And then when we got back from holidays, it feels like it's just exploded. I'll make sure I put some good photos of it up in the B-roll, but I just love how it's just sort of going wild over the shelf. Theoretically, these guys belong on a trellis, and I don't know how long I'm going to be able to let it just go wild how it is, but I hope it'll be for a little while because I really like its random growing pattern, and I like how it's sort of made the shelf its own. It is just one of those plants that I am so grateful didn't get picked up at Plant Club. Let's have a look at some of the smaller plants that I've actually been able to bring in here for you guys. This one in particular has been such a pleasant surprise. If you guys have been on this channel for a little while, I'm not normally a cream or a yellowish variegation girl, but this one has been breaking all the rules for me. This is an epipremnum according to my Plant ID app. So I've got a Snow Queen Pothos, and apparently this is the Marble Queen. The reason that it's leaning towards the Marble Queen, not the Snow Queen, is see, it's got the more creamy or even yellowy variegations. When I got given this as a clipping, I was thinking I'm just going to grow it out and then put it in at Plant Club for the swap. But there's something about this plant that I am loving. So see, it's thrown up a half moon for me. It's got some beautiful colors. This is the first creamy, yellowy variegation plant that's actually ever caught my eye. And so I'm really looking forward to watching this grow. So the next plant on the list is a plant that I've showed you guys a lot before. It's actually a Syngonium red arrow, but this is not the big plant that I have in our dining room. This is actually another propagation that I got from Plant Club. I just had it in a glass vessel, just like I've got the epipremnum. But when I got home from holidays, this was actually big enough. It had enough established roots that I could finally put it in. I bought myself this at Christmas time. It was just on like AliExpress or Temu or somewhere like that. I bought it in with some of the extra Christmas decorations that I got, and I've just sort of had it sitting aside in the cupboard with all my spare pots, waiting for one of my propagations to have enough roots. So I'm really excited. If you've watched any of my garden tour, nursery tour videos, I always point out the cactus pots. I don't know, I've just got a soft spot for them. I'm not sure why. This is just in water, growing in hydro. I haven't had a red robin for more than 12 months in water. We'll see how it goes, but for now I'm really loving that on my side table, and it's just got so many new little babies coming up as well. I think it's really happy where it is on the side table. Where it gets a little bit of filtered morning sun, and then for the rest of the day it gets a bit of grow light on it as well. The next two plants that I have to show you are alocasias, and I was actually debating for this week's video, do I do like an alocasia snapshot video, which I think I'll still do down the track. But I realized I had far more plants and alocasias that I wanted to talk to you guys about this week. While it was all fresh in my brain, I spend a lot of time at home now because of my esophageal dysmotility and not being able to eat and all the things. It's not very often that I spend multiple days away to be able to get this fresh set of eyes. So I thought, while I've got them, I really need to make the most of it, because it probably won't be again until next year, until I have a nice window of time away from my plants again. So this plant was the first alocasia that I purchased. And we didn't see eye to eye for a very long time. So this is one of the original leaves, and for such a long time, every time it got one new leaf, it would drop the old one. I'd heard alocasias can be in the 1 and 2 leaf club, and I thought, oh, yes, of course, you're just doing that cycle on me. And I really was debating if this is going to go to plant club for someone else to have a go with. And while I was having the struggles with this plant, for anyone that's been on my channel for a while, I apologize because I've told this story quite a few times, but I rescued an Alocasia stingray from Plant Club. So someone had donated it to the local plant library. It was shriveled up, one little leaf left. I couldn't even tell what it was. So I brought it home, not realizing it was an Alocasia. I found the location in our back area under the perspex, and it was just thriving, absolutely thriving. And then I realized, oh my goodness, this is an Alocasia, and it's actually doing well in my care. I guess I'd done all the research for this plant, and I thought I had it in a really good location. I tried it in 2, I think maybe even 3 different locations around our house, and none of it was working. It was just so frustrated. Anyway, so the stingray was working well, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to put this out where the stingray is, because if the stingray is doing well, this is an Alocasia as well, maybe that will be the magic formula that it needs. As I was thinking about moving it outside, Daisy, my big girl, knocked it over. Her tail knocked the plant over, and all of the potting mix scattered on the floor, and there must have been corms in amongst it. So I cleaned the potting mix up as best that I could. I put most of it back in this pot, but like when you pull anything apart, there was some left over, so I just sort of shuffled it into some surrounding plants, and a whole heap of babies started popping up. So now, not only is this not in the 1 leaf club, it's sprouted up a number of leaves by itself, being in a similar location to the stingray, but all of those baby corms, I should have brought it in for you guys, it's still out in the back area. I've got a whole other pot with babies of these guys blooming. I think there's 4, maybe even 5 leaves in the baby pot. And best of all, when I got home from holidays, this is the newest leaf, and it was just starting to unfurl, and I was so excited. I was so grateful that it hadn't unfurled while I was on holidays, because look at the size of this. Finally, not only does it have more leaves, but they're sizing up, guys. They're sizing up. Look, I'll put my hand on it. Yeah, this is definitely such a good news story, because I just adore this plant. I had the plant club ladies here yesterday because of the rain. We couldn't meet where we normally meet at the coffee shop. They've already asked me for some propagations of a number of my Alocasia, actually. So instead of it going to the table for, can someone please take this? It's not working in my home. I'll be able to take some babies for the ladies at Plant Club, which will be really, really nice. The next plant that's making me smile is also another Alocasia, and I promise I won't show you guys too many because I really do want to do a spotlight on Alocasia videos. So this Alocasia was another example. This is one of its latest leaves. Look at that. It's got a little bit of rain on it. I don't know if it's going to impact the leaf for you guys to look at. So this got left on the table. I can't remember. I think it's just corms with the tiniest little shoot coming out of it at the end of a plant club many months ago, and I could just tell from the tiny little bit of leaf that was poking out. I thought, this is not a plant that's going to be able to sit out on the plant library table. With any plants like that I look at and go, they're not going to handle it, I bring them home here, and I either put them in the propagation room or in the back area. I let them grow, and then I take them back to plant club for the ladies to have. Or if they're a little bit more established and hardy, and I think then they will be able to handle being out on the plant library, I'll put them out on there. So anyway, I knew this one had to come home with me. No idea what it was. The first leaf sort of popped up, and I took a photo of it, and I said to ChatGPT and Gemini, and I said, I think this is another Alocasia. But they both said to me, it's too early to tell. So I just held my breath and waited. And yeah, sure enough, as the leaf developed, I went back to the ID app, and they both confirmed it is an Alocasia. And since then, I don't know how many more leaves it grew. It feels like it doubled the amount of leaves that it had while we were away on holidays. And if you remember me saying, we were in the middle of a heat wave, so I was really a bit worried about these guys because they were in our back patio. But my beautiful planty friend Chrissy just came, and she made sure, I said, out of all the plants, please don't let my Alocasias go completely dry. If you're going to prioritize any plant, just please make sure they've always got that little bit of water, and bless, she did. I'm just trying to think. They must have been in with some other plants as well that I had taken home, because I started finding them popping up in some of my other plants. I gathered them together and I put them all in this pot. And look at this, I've just got a whole other plant growing here. And the most exciting thing is this lovely lady Sue. It's her birthday this month, as well. Out of everyone that comes to Plant Club, she definitely brings the most propagations month after month. We are just so grateful for her. And when she was here last time, when Plant Club was here last time, these guys were just really little. But she said, I actually don't have that Alocasia. If you can grow some of these, if you can propagate them, can I please have one? So I was so excited when I got home from holidays to see that I had a really full little pot for Sue. So now it's time to talk about the plants that are not causing me to smile as much, and are actually, some of them, causing me to be quite frustrated, and 2 of them in fact frustrated enough that I'm just going to put them in the compost bin. I don't even want to give them to someone at Plant Club, and I just would feel terrible giving someone else at Plant Club another problem. So I've got a really good compost bin full of worms that I use to fertilize our gardens. These 2 plants will go and help some other plants grow. Let's have a look at some of my problem plants. We'll start with the Oxalis. It's a little bit closed up. For anyone who's not familiar with these plants, they close up at night time, which is part of the thing that I like about them. You guys can't tell because I'm in here with the blinds down. This is my propagation room, so I've got grow lights everywhere, but outside it's actually quite dark and miserable. And even so much so, we've been issued a weather warning from the local government flooding. This Oxalis sits on our back patio, and it's basically like nighttime outside at the moment. So I guess these guys are a little bit confused. I got 2 Oxalis last year because I've been watching them on the Sydney Plant Guys channel. It's got a really big and beautiful Oxalis that I just think is really beautiful. I saw this one at the Brisbane Plant Expo. It was $10, and I thought, oh, $10 for an Oxalis, that's fantastic. It didn't like getting repotted, so it came in soil, as most plants do. The soil was a little bit dense, so I was concerned. As you guys know, my sinus doesn't like soil, but also my plant care style doesn't like soil either. I have a real tendency to overwater plants that are in soil. So within a week, I guess, of getting this guy, I repotted it. I think it was actually a video I did with you guys. It didn't like it. It flopped. It had a really big tantrum. I haven't done close up, have I? It's got about half the leaves. Although it looks a bit flopped and closed now because it's so dark outside, it is definitely coming back, and when the sun is out, they're fully open. And I'm hoping, touch wood, that we're over that repotting moment and that it will just keep growing from here. I'm not too worried about this guy, but my second Oxalis, I'm not sure. I think it's 50-50. It's been in here in the propagation room, so it doesn't really know that it's raining and dark outside. So yeah, this is all that's left, guys, of my other Oxalis. It's one stem, and it's very much in the 1 leaf club at the moment. As this one dies, another one seems to pop up. I don't know if you guys can see, there are lots of little shoots in the bottom. So maybe we're also coming over the repotting hurdle with this one, but this was the poor one that I got from Facebook actually earlier. So it was before I got the one from the Brisbane Plant Expo. And if you remember, it came in a beautiful pot. It didn't have drainage in the bottom of the pot, and the soil was really dense. And for anyone who watched that repotting, when I went to repot it, it was all stuck to the bottom. So it was like there were shells and glue in the bottom, and I ended up ripping the stems away from the rhizome, and I really wasn't sure how the whole thing would go. So this bit here is actually what's growing from the rhizome underneath the potting mixture. I've got this in perlite and stratum, a combination of perlite and stratum, and so this is all popping up from the roots and the rhizome. It's definitely a long way at this stage from going on the plant swap table, just because it's such a unique, different plant. I love the colors. I love that it closes at nighttime. When you get a pot of these full, they are just beautiful. So it doesn't need to worry for now. I'm not giving it to anyone at Plant Club anytime soon, but I'm really on the struggle bus with this one. Neither of these plants have been an easy introduction to Oxalis, I have to say. So yeah, definitely a problem child for March. So this plant makes me a little bit sad to be saying to you guys that it's one of my compost plants. So this is an Epipremnum. I've had to cut this back twice now. So I got it as a propagation about 12 months ago, and it featured on one of my early favorites videos when I first started this channel, and it was huge and it just looked amazing, and I was so excited to share it with you guys. And then literally within a week, it's like it heard me, of me featuring this plant in the video, the whole plant flopped and just went limp, which was strange because I'm growing it in hydro and it's under my Soltec grow lights. So I was like, the watering didn't change, the nutrients didn't change, and the lighting didn't change. I couldn't see any pests, and I thought, oh, it must be some sort of fungus or bacteria. So I cut it right back to wet sticks, and it's grown again for me. And see, this bit is just looking beautiful, but I've had to cut some leaves off up here because they started getting the yellow motley again. And then these are the latest new leaves. I can't see any pests on it. but now I'm getting these funny shaped leaves. So it just doesn't seem to be able to grow healthy. And I know you guys are probably cringing, but this is my first alive compost plant for 2026. I don't want to give this to someone else to have problems with. A lot of the beautiful ladies in our plant club are very much beginner plant parents. This plant has just caused me so much trouble over the last 12 months that I don't want to share that with anyone else. So this guy can join the next one I'm about to show you in the compost bin. It can help feed the worms, and it can help be fertilizer for my my established gardens and also some of the new gardens that I'm building in the backyard. So this next plant that's a compost plant, I've only kept it because it's been sentimental. And I realized when I got home from holidays, the vase that it's in had basically dried out. It didn't have any water in it. I looked at it, and any other plant that was a little bit dried out, I rushed around because we're in the middle of a heat wave. I rushed around and made sure they have water. And I just remember thinking, I don't even know if I can be bothered watering that plant. So it's sentimental because looking back, I think it is literally the first plant I ever owned. I remember having this on my desk when I was at university. So I've had this plant for a very long time. It has never been healthy. The original plant rotted away years and years ago, and this was just a propagation that I had. But its leaves always look faded. They've often got yellow dots on them. I've pest controlled them. I've fungicided them. I've tried it growing in my self-watering setups, my DIY mixers. I've tried it just growing in hydro. I have moved to different locations, and it doesn't matter what I do. This plant has never ever in, goodness gracious, how long has it been since I've been at uni? Well, I feel really old saying this, but I've probably had this plant for 25, 30 years now, and it has never ever looked healthy. So that's it. It's going in the compost bin, because seriously, when I found myself going, I really can't even be bothered watering you. That's enough. So my longest plant that has never ever brought me joy, because it has never ever been healthy. I don't know why I have kept it for so long. It's finally going in the compost bin. I know, I'm so proud of myself. 2 more problem plants to go. So this plant, OMG guys, this plant frustrates me so much. This is the plant that I'm rescuing for my friend. So it was quite a big plant, and she was having trouble caring for it at her house. It just wasn't behaving, and she said, Mel, you have more time to look after plants. Could you try for me? So I split it into 4. It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I pretty much can pick up any of the plants, and they all look like this. 3 out of the 4 of them are in my self-watering setups in various types. So this one, for example, is in perlite stratum, and the other 2 are in my DIY chunky mix. I've got them in different locations around the house to try and see if different light will make any difference to them. And the 4th one is just in hydro, so just growing in water. And actually, it looks the worst out of all of them. So it doesn't seem to be a hydro plant. But yeah, no joy here. And this one actually sits on the shelf in our bedroom. So I've got all these beautiful things that I've done in our bedroom. And then I look at this one and I just think, oh my goodness. But I don't feel like I can compost it yet, because it is one of my friend's favorite plants. She was like, please, can you have a go and see if you can bring it back to life? And she spotted this one yesterday, because Plant Club came over here yesterday. So she spotted this one and picked it up and brought it to me, and I just felt sick actually. And she said to me, oh my goodness, I feel so much better, because if you can't get this plant to behave, that tells me that maybe there was something wrong with the plant in the first place. And I felt so relieved when she said that. I said to her, I'll keep trying. I've got the final plant, so one of the 4 that was in the back area, that I've got in the back area where the alocasias grow, I've actually cut it right back to roots and wet sticks. I've just put it in one of my humidity jars. But pretty much, if that restart doesn't help, maybe there was something wrong with this plant, or maybe it just doesn't like growing in Brisbane. Maybe our growing conditions aren't right. I'm not sure. So anyway, it needs to stay for a few more weeks just to see how that one goes in the humidity jar. This is my monkey's tail cactus, guys. I am so disappointed that it's on the problem child list for the month, because it did nothing wrong. It was growing beautifully when we got back from holidays. We're in the middle of a heat wave, so Chrissy was coming twice a week. So it had been a few days since she'd been to our house. I sort of rushed around and just chopped up any of the plants that I thought needed it. And if you remember, for anyone that saw my holiday videos, all of my plants, I made sure I had put saucers underneath them so Chrissy could water in situ. When I was watering it, I remember the water sort of sploshing, and so too much water went into this pot. You know where I'm going with this. And I remember thinking, oh no, but my hands were full, and I was like, when I'm finished watering, when the watering container's empty, I'll come back to make sure I empty this saucer out. Now, of course, ADHD brain, I did not empty the saucer out. So it sat there for days and days with way too much water, getting wet roots. And the first I knew about it, for anyone who's seen some of my other favorite videos, it had this beautiful big arm coming down the front. The arm started going brown and shriveling, and I was like, what's going on there? Because it had looked so happy and healthy when I got home from holidays. I lost the entire arm. This is where the arm came off here. It had completely rotted. Thank goodness the rest of it didn't rot. I wouldn't have even noticed. Like, it was a black saucer that I had it in, so I couldn't see that it was sitting in water. So anyway, I took the saucer away, drained all the water out of it, put it into a smaller pot, and got rid of any of the rotted roots, and we're starting again. This is in my DIY chunky mix, and it's out on the back patio underneath the clear perspex. It does not have a saucer underneath it because we are getting so much rain, and I'm really conscious this plant is still recovering. I have brought it back into the propagation room just for the next day or two while we get this heavy rain. It's probably a little bit of overkill. So that's it for my March update video, guys. So if you made it through to this part of the video, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I really, really appreciate it. I truthfully haven't even thought about what we're going to do in next week's video. I am struggling a little bit with having the moon boot on. I'm not able to do as much as I normally do. Just keeping up with the normal plant care is enough, and I have all of these ideas of things that I want to do with my plants. So I'm not sure where next week will take us. And until then, whatever you're doing, I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week, and please take care, and I'll see you in the next video, guys.